Oh boy, it's me again. I've been quite busy the past few days, juggling IRL stuff and my YouTube shenanigans. So here's a more relaxed video until I actually work on my next big project, which is Von Lycon's Timeless. So please enjoy the brain rot. Hope you bring some visitor because you'll be joining the Trip Bang Boo real soon. Hopefully. Anyway, let's get on with the video.
Today we're going to compare Evelyn to Soldier 11, the two fire DPS characters,
Now I know
both
the
attackers.
I don't know if I should cut that out, but we'll include this in. So I know you, Nasuya, you're an Evelyn simp. If I'm not mistaken, you have Evelyn. You have her profile picture as your Discord as well. How on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a simp are you for Evelyn?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll say I'm an 11.
Okay, so there you go, folks. But we will try to keep this video. We will try to keep this video as neutral as possible. I don't really care about Soldier 11 and Evelyn, even though I made a video about Soldier 11 and bashing Evelyn. I'm trying to be as neutral as possible for this video. And so today we are comparing Soldier 11 versus Evelyn. Okay, first off, we'll go with character design. So let's start out with Soldier 11 outfit. So how are you feeling about Soldier 11?
I'm going to say Soldier 11 meets my kid me criteria of military design. I know military. My
So-
military head me. She has like the ammo pouches, the kind of what is that? The armored dress.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a military vibe is like, even though it's I personally like her backpack design. It's very cool, and yeah, like her like military accessory is very cool like as well. I agree with that. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how are we feeling her outfit?
Maybe like an 8.
8, strong 8. Okay. So this is unbiased. Like we are both like very unbiased about this, even though we have an Evelyn simp in here. But it doesn't matter. I would say for her outfit wise, this could be I would say like an 8 too. Like it's not. I like the design and I think it matches well with Soldier 11 as a character. I like her. I love her goggles and I love her like accessories. So I'll give it an 8. Nasuya, you give it an 8 as well.
Yeah, but one thing I have to disagree with you is the backpack thingy, the gasoline backpack. I don't really like that. It looks kind of ugly to me.
Okay.
That's me.
So you don't like the backpack, but everything else for you is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a solid like response. An 8 is not bad. So we'll go over here and we'll rate this Soldier 11 an 8 for outfit. Okay. So Soldier 11's done. Let's move on to Evelyn. How are we feeling, Evelyn? What's her outfit looking for you?
I would say Evelyn's outfit would be like maybe 8 too.
8 too? Okay. I would say 8 is not bad. I would go like 7.5 actually, because I think it's a little bit too, Gunnar baity in my opinion. Yeah, her assets is showing. Her assets not showing, but like, she got her strap like around there. It's just, I don't know, maybe a bit too much for me. So Soldier 11 is actually 16. So you would say 8 for Evelyn's outfit, and I would say 7 out of 10, yeah. I don't really like her outfit that much. I like her jacket, but she took it off like whatever you ult, so it doesn't really change much. So I would say a 7 out of 10 for me, outfit-wise.
One thing that I would say, now that you mentioned the jacket, it's just a preference of mine, something that it takes with me whenever I see it. I don't really like when they put jackets on characters and they use it like a cape instead of a jacket.
So you're
But,
more
well,
of a... Okay.
She takes it off anyway, so
she-
it doesn't really matter.
So you're more of a practical guy. You don't like outfits hanging as a cape.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, I personally don't really care about the jacket that much, but I kind of see where you're going. But it still doesn't change the fact that you're still gonna give her an 8.
Yeah, maybe a 7.5 because of the jacket thingy, but everything else, nay.
We'll keep it an 8 then. So to be
Okay.
fair, yeah. So Evelyn 15.5 and then Soldier 11 a 16. Okay, so next up the theme. So this is based on how well they are perceived in their universe. So we obviously know Xenozone Zero is based on like a futuristic high technology like world where ether corrupts people. And so how are we feeling the vibes on Soldier 11? Like is her theme matches like the overall world that she sets in?
I think it's kind of like a mix because we saw that new Eridu feels like futuristic, but also kind of doesn't because with cars we saw
Yeah, with
we
yeah,
saw
yeah.
Shu Yuan's artifact with wheels. You
Mm-hmm.
would think that the police has more budget for a more impressive car, but I would say that it matches like the overall aesthetics.
Mm-hmm. So would you give it like how much like how like what's the score you're giving for theme here for Social 11?
For T,
Like yeah, there are some inconsistency throughout the world, but we're talking about characters here. I would say it's a 7 because she matches some of the vibes too, but her technology wise it's very, I don't know, like Stone Agey, if you know what I mean. Like I like the backpack design, but there's no practical use for the backpack, you know? Like there are some character designs in there that I just feel like this doesn't really match the game or lore wise that much. So I'll give it a 7 personally, in my opinion. I'll give like Soldier 11 a 7.
yeah, but I think it is 7 too.
7? Okay. So we both agree that she deserves to be 14 in general for theme. You think that's
Uh-huh.
fine? Okay. Okay. Next up, Evelyn theme. Would you say that she matches the lore wise like of Xenozone Zero?
Yeah, I would say she matches because, well, at least her section of the lore, because she's a bodyguard for Astra,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing much to it, just that.
It's very simple. Like I feel like the theme is very like matching for Evelyn wise because she does kind of have that like bodyguard type s. It very like matches the lore well. I personally give it a it won't be too high because I feel like theme is very subjective and to me this could be like a 7.5 again for Evelyn.
True, true, true. Same here.
Same? Okay, so we both agree that it's 7.5 each then.
Mhm.
Okay, so that leaves her with 15 score. Okay, so overall, it is pretty balanced. Obviously, it's still early, like, and things can subjectively change, so we'll just leave it there. I think it's pretty well. Like, we got the basic down, and I feel like we did a pretty good job here. And so, moving on to gameplay loop. So, would you say Soldier 11 first? Let's go Soldier 11 first. Would you say her gameplay is very, like, engaging? Is it fun to play? Is it, like good enough for you to actually feel that, you're investing in her just for the gameplay?
Yeah, I feel like it's fun. It's engaging. It
Mhm.
feels like you're playing the character, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No,
Having
I
to time your
no, I see what you like. You're like the timing for like your fire suppression for Soldier 11 is very
Uh-huh.
fun. I would say that's the best part about Soldier 11, and I would personally give it like an 8 out of like 10 fun score because I enjoy playing her. No, I just feel like I'd say 8 is a pretty solid score.
yeah, 9 is solid. I will give it a 9.
9, okay, it's pretty high.
Yeah,
It is very engaging to play as Soldier 11, that's for sure. Like, obviously,
yeah.
you can time your fire suppression to its max, and that's very rewarding. And I would say, yeah, 8 and a 9. So
I
that,
I want to say that I like hard characters. I really like to play Ambi because she's simple and her dodge counter is like 1 second of invincibility,
hmm
and you have to be really precise with dodging and doing your thingy combo.
yeah.
I'm out of practice right now, but
So it's,
yeah,
so it's very like kind of like a high risk, high reward type of situation, like a
yeah.
high reward for characters. Okay, I see that too. Yeah. So 8 and 9, 17. I think that's pretty much perfect where we're fitting Soldier 11. Okay. Next up, Evelyn. Is Evelyn gameplay engaging for you? You would say.
It is. It is, but well, it is the next section. But it is kind of harder than Sword 11, I would say, because
Okay.
to always do fire damage, you kind of have to make dodges with the X and the rest of the attacks. And especially in this Shiyu, it's hard because the stupid dog is too active and
Mm-hmm.
do things unexpectedly.
Okay. But is it fun
I
wise for you?
Fun wise, I would give it like a 7.5 or 8 because it can get frustrating sometimes.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. 7.5 or an 8. We'll go with, honestly, I would say like an 8 because it is very engaging to actually nail down your chain attack and it's very like rewarding when you actually get it down. But like you said before, it is sometimes very difficult to play her, but we'll move on to that later. But so far, would you agree that both an 8 is fine?
Hmm.
Okay, so we'll leave Evelyn's gameplay as 16 for engaging. But moving on to difficulty. So let's start with Evelyn first this time. Like, how difficult would you say it is to play Evelyn?
I would say like it's 10. Not to
10.
undermine Soldier, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would say 10 because, as I said before, you have to kind of move in between with X and dodge counters to keep doing fire damage.
So this is kind of reversed because we are scaling on how high the score is. So difficulty is 10 is like very easy and 1 is hard to pick up.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, maybe 2,
2?
3.
Okay. It's very hard to pick up for like new user, you would say. Like if you don't know how to play her, then you're pretty much like in the dark. You would say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would leave it at 2. I would say Evelyn wise, from my perspective, like I play a lot of like difficulty characters. I play Zhu Yuan, which is a lot harder, and I also play Harumasa, but not a lot to say that he is very difficult. I would put it as like maybe a 3 actually. Like I like her gameplay, and I feel like if I invested more, then her difficulty wouldn't be as bad. So we'll probably give her a 5 on difficulty then. So
Okay.
moving on to Soldier 11 now. Would you say she is more difficult to play than Evelyn is?
No.
No?
The thing is with she gives you like a lot of leniency because the timing for the fire suppression is not that tight.
Very generous,
Kind
you would
of.
say.
And you also have X and chain and ultimate that gives you like 12 free hits of fire
Yep.
suppression damage, I think it was.
Definitely, yeah. It does kind of handicap a little bit. Like, if you don't know how to play Soldier 11, you can always EX special or chain attack or even ult to get like free fire suppression stack, which is very useful. And so I would say she is a lot easier to play than Evelyn, but how would you rate Soldier 11 gameplay wise? Like, how difficult do you think it is?
I think we would give it like a 4.
A 4? I'd say like
I don't
a
remember how much invincibility she gets from the dodge counter.
It's quite a bit. Like her dodge counter is pretty long because she does like a 2-hit attack, but it is kind of hard to nail down. Like if you can't dodge well enough, then I can see that it's difficult to like get into Soldier 11. But as long as you get the rhythm down, I would say it's not that hard actually. So you would get it a 4, you would say.
Yeah, like a
Okay.
4.
So it's not that hard. Okay. I'll probably give it a 5 actually because I like her gameplay. It's just not engaging enough for me to actually, like boost her difficulty up. And so I would say a 5 is pretty solid. So would you agree that this is a 9?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say I'm pretty happy with this. Like overall, like we have a pretty solid foundation of what we understand like Soldier 11 and Evelyn is. And so moving on to the last part, the part where most people will probably be looking forward to the most is the meta. And so obviously meta wise, it's very unfair for Soldier 11 to be in this conversation because Evelyn is a new release character, and obviously according to Hoyo, the newest character will always be the strongest one. If you look up on like any type of like tier list, Evelyn will always be above Soldier 11. And so in terms of Soldier 11 wise, we will give her a little bit of a handicap, and so we will include Mindscape. So what does that mean is that she will get a little bit of handicap, and so the more Mindscape she will have, the less score she will get. And so let's say if I'm comparing Mindscape 2 to Evelyn, then I will subtract some point from Soldier 11 because of her Mindscape. But in terms of raw damage wise, would you say Soldier 11 and Evelyn wise, like would you say Soldier 11 does more raw damage than Evelyn? Like even including Mindscape?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
How are we rating this one? Like
just raw damage feel wise, like without
but what,
any
like
without
up,
any disk drive.
but like up to down or down to
Oh.
up, like the difficulty one.
So like the more damage you deal, the higher your score will be.
Okay, maybe like a 7.
7 for raw damage, okay. Like this is without like any type of like equipment and stuff, because obviously Soldier and Evelyn has their own engine, and so this is like one of the harder things to match, and so we're just kind of like feeling it because obviously it is hard. So raw damage wise, we are looking at like huge burst damage of numbers, like even when you're like stunning the enemy, or you're just like fighting your enemy, like just basically raw damage wise. So would you say like On a scale of 1 to 10, how much damage would you think Soldier 11 can output, like including Mindscape?
I don't know what all her minds can do. I think
Um,
M2 was just more damage overall, right?
so yeah, the more it's basically to like simplified it. The more like her Mindscape is, like the higher the damage she deals. Like obviously, some Mindscape will obviously deal like quality of life improvement, but most of the
Mhm.
time it is like just straight up skill plus and raw damage wise.
Yeah, I think maybe like a 7 would be fair.
Like this is comparing to like other characters like Nekomata, like Billy even with their
Yeah, yeah.
Mindscape. Hmm.
To compared to other characters, I would say Soldier 11 is a 7.
7. Okay, so obviously I don't have a lot of experience. I do have M2 Mindscape Surge 11, and so this is kind of hard for me to rate too. But obviously, to simplify it, I'll probably give it like a 7 as well. So we're looking at 14 for raw damage Surge 11 wise. Would you say this is fair? Like this is like adding Mindscape on it as well, because we having Surge 11 get a little bit of handicap here.
Mm, yeah, yeah, I do.
Okay, so it's
14.
14 for raw damage and performance wise. So I would say she's pretty solid. Like overall, she obviously better than most other characters. Like definitely better than Nekomata. Definitely for sure. And so moving on to Evelyn. So raw damage wise, like this is without her Wenjin, without her like Mindscape. How would you say? How would you describe raw damages for Evelyn wise?
I would say she's like 8.5.
8.5. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like she's very strong, but not she's not meta defining. So like obviously
No.
raw damage wise, when we're looking at meta, like raw damage wise for meta, like Miyabi is definitely a number 10. Zuyuan I would say like an 8, like just raw damage wise, like for a character. So you would say Evelyn is an 8.5.
Yeah.
Okay, like not as strong as Miyabi, you would say.
No, no. Usually not as strong as Miyabi.
Okay.
But she can deal a lot of damage on
Hmm.
her own.
Yeah, through a chain attack, like you would say, like she deals a lot more damage wise.
Mhm.
Okay, so 8.5 for you. I would say she's probably an 8. I would say she's on the same level. Actually, she might be a little bit more powerful than Zuyuan, but because of how difficult she is, like getting that raw damage wise, it is kind of hard for me. But, you know, speaking of like just like number wise, I would say she's probably an 8 for me. I would
Yeah.
probably agree with that. So that leaves her to 16.5 for raw damage. Okay, so moving on to the last one, which is probably the most controversial one, which is synergy, because obviously Soldier 11 is getting more, roommates in the future for Obo Squad. Evelyn, in the meantime, only has what Astra Yao as her, backup support, the only true support that would support her.
Okay.
Okay, so synergy wise, this is about like how well, this character matches with other characters. So obviously, Soldier 11 has been here the longest, and so most people can test her out the most to, like see how well she matches with other. And she also has Obo Squad, which is coming up. And Evelyn, people are still trying to figure out like, what synergy she matches with the most. Obviously, she matches well with Astra Yao the most. Would you agree?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and then
I would
Lucy as
say like
well. Yeah.
that Soldier 11, it's a bit more restricted than Evelyn because as all 1.0 characters, she
Mm-hmm.
has like was fire or squad members to activate her additional when Evelyn just needs an stun or a support,
Mm-hmm.
and it's easier to get either of the two.
Okay. So you would say Evelyn is like synergy wise is a little bit better than Soldier 11 just because Soldier 11 doesn't have any other squad mate. Like Obo Squad's not coming until like 1.6, you would say.
And being restricted to one fire
Mm.
character
Yep.
is doesn't help her.
I agree. Okay. Meanwhile, Evelyn can sort of mismatch towards like other characters. Like even
Yeah.
Nicole can help like her out.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Mm,
Because
okay.
at the end of the day, you could always like just get her chains attack ready
Mm-hmm.
and stun the enemy and then kill it
Okay.
because she does that much damage. She deals that more damage, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And in comparison, Soldier 11, you kind of like have to on-feel her more because how much damage she does. You can always build her to be more bursty, obviously, but I feel more of her damage comes from her being on field most of the time.
Okay. Okay, so to rate this, would you say synergy wise, how much would you rate Soldier 11?
Like a 6 or 5.
6 or 5?
Mhm.
Synergy wise, I would agree because Obo Squad is not out yet. I would give her like a 5.5 actually. And so you would give her like I would say probably a 5 then?
Mm-hmm.
Would be fine? Okay.
5 is good.
Okay. So obviously this is still early to say because Obo Squad is yet to come out, and so this is kind of like a open book. But yeah, like I would say 5.5. You would say 5. So let's leave it at 10.5 for Soldier 11. We'll say this is good. This is good for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Evelyn wise, the newest character, how would you feel like synergy wise? Like how would she matches with other agents?
We already said that she only needs a stun or support to activate her additional. But as you said, people are still figuring out what kind of character synergizes better with her.
Okay.
At the moment, I feel like the stronger ones are obviously Astra,
Obviously,
her
yep.
designated support, and maybe Lighter and Caesar.
Okay.
You could maybe add Shinji, but how do I say it? Shinji needs more field time than Caesar or Lighter.
So it kind of like messes with Evelyn a little bit, you would say.
Mhm.
Okay, I would agree there. Obviously, I have lighter, and I would like to try, the lighter Evelyn team, but unfortunately, I'm not pulling for Evelyn, and so I don't really have a lot to say with synergy wise. But for now, she is probably the go-to agent to, go with Astra Yao, if you're not putting her on like a Miyabi team, obviously. And so for that reason, I would say Evelyn wise, I'll give her like a 6.5 for synergy wise, because she does a lot of damage, but she also needs some part of a field time. I would say like she's not like a sort of Bernice where she can just matches with any character, or like a Lucy where she can just matches anywhere, right? And so I would say 6.5 is solid for me. For Evelyn.
Yeah, I would say it's 6.5, maybe 7 even.
7,
But
okay.
6.5 is fine.
6.5 is fine. Okay, so final score here is probably a 13. Then, is it like does it matches your like expectation wise?
Yeah, I would say it matches.
Okay, so we got the score here. So let me just sum it up real quick here, in case we miss anything, and then we'll just tally up right down here. Obviously, this video is not the final definition of who you should pull for. You should always pull, on like who you like, or if you really like that character, because overall, this is just our opinion. And so, final score for Soldier 11, it is gonna be 80.5. So it's very high because obviously, Soldier 11 is a great character. She's very easy to pick up, learn, and deal a lot of damage. She also has like, great character design, and her theme also matches with, the lore of the characters, lore of like, new Eridu wise. And so 80.5 is, you will say it's pretty solid. Would you say it's pretty solid?
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Okay. And so got that out of the way. Let's calculate Evelyn's score here. Okay, so actually, Evelyn actually goes above Soldier 11 actually. So she actually gets an 81.
81.
So this is very, like you would say, this is very close. Like they're very similar in terms of like character wise. Would you say?
Yeah, it's pretty even.
Obviously, because of meta wise, Evelyn will always be on top with raw damage, and also with
Of course,
synergy.
of course.
Yep. And so with energy, like synergy too, because Soldier 11 squad mate isn't out yet. So in my opinion, Soldier 11 actually matches Evelyn if you have like a lot of mindscape for her, or if you already built Soldier 11 up. I would say like you can skip on Evelyn and you can still like clear content with her. You would say wise, like if you have Soldier 11 like mindscape 3 or mindscape 4, would you still use her and save on Evelyn maybe if you don't have enough pulls for Evelyn?
Of course. I'm biased towards Evelyn because I'm a sim, and maybe if I even had Mindscape 4 of Soldier and have her build, I will obviously pull for Evelyn again.
Okay.
But for like more meta-ish, caring for the account kind of people, I would say you can pretty much skip Evelyn if you have strong Surge 11.
Okay, well, there you have it, lady gents, and everyone else. So, obviously, this is a little bit biased towards Evelyn because she is newly released, but obviously, Soldier 11 is still a very strong character. And if you have her mindscape wise and you have already built her, then you can always, use your Soldier 11 because even with shield defense nowadays, like, you can also use, take advantage of Evelyn boost and use your Soldier 11 to clear content faster. But obviously, like I said, this video is for fun. Pull on whoever you like and just have fun with the game. Any other words before we end this video, Natsuya?
Always pull with your cock.
Yes, exactly. This is very true, but unfortunately, I would like to have YouTube censorship, so I would have to blur that out.
Okay. Always pull with your other head then.
Exactly, yes. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Video ends now.